Thank you, everyone. And it's such a pleasure to see real faces, real eyes after this months of virtual events where you can see only yourself on the screen or maybe your co-panelists. And this also will be a part of my talk today because we had to be able to manage a team only seeing them online. What's the most important part of your business? You may think it's money, capital, technology, yourself maybe. No, it's your team. What unites all the successful projects that made success in the Silicon Valley, in whichever big hub in the world, what unites them all? An old team who passed together through challenges and happy moments, who know each other, who can share their own vision, who can tell their colleagues that they are wrong at some moment. This is what is really, really important. In my opinion, the entrepreneurs traditionally think that they should be able to do everything themselves on their own. I don't know how many entrepreneurs are here in the audience right now. Have you ever thought that you have to do everything impeccably, perfectly fine because you are an entrepreneur? You can't make faults, you can't make mistakes. You have to know everything and be able to manage all the processes in your company. This is wrong. Why? Because you just can't be everything. You can't be a woman and a man at the same time. Well, maybe you can, but it's one of the opportunities that you have. We are all different. And this is what makes every project valuable. So what are the key components of every team and every project? There are three very important things. And my own mentor and a wonderful researcher and advisor was called Ernesto Ciroli, creator of Ciroli Institute in Silicon Valley. He created this concept of Trinity of Management. What is Trinity of Management? This is about passion. Every person has his or her own passion. Some people are passionate about the product that they create. And product can be a technology, product can be a service, product can be also communication sometimes, like you communicate with people and this is your product. So this is the first type of passion. And people who are passionate about their product are called P people. This is a third of the trinity of management of every project. What else? M, that is market, communications. They do not think about the product, they think about the audience, about the people who need your product. And when it comes to, for example, capital alignment, they think, no, stop investing into the product. Start investing into marketing. The world needs to know about your product. Their passion is communication. This is the second most important person in your team. The one who will be transmitting to the world what is important to the product person. The third one, everything is fine, the product is ready, it's been promoted to the world. Is your finance in order? Is your legal base in order? This is the third person, the F person. This person says, stop. We need to first make everything all right on the financial side. We need to put in order all our investments and expenses. And this balances the other two in your team. So every team from the beginning has to have these three main people. And look around you. Sometimes you shouldn't even go through recruiter to find this other person for your team. It may be your sister, it may be your mother, it may be your best friend, whose passion has been communications, and you need this person. But also think about yourself. Who are you? Entrepreneur can be any one of these three passionate advocates of their business. Who are you? Are you a product person, a communication person, or a order person? So this is when you start a business, and then your team grows. It becomes present in different parts of the world. Then pandemic comes. You have a whole team on 5 continents of the world, of whom you met in person maybe 5%. This is my case. I have over 100 people in my team, and yeah, I guess I met only 5% of them. They're all wonderful. They speak different languages. They have different backgrounds. They live in different countries. They live in different time zones. This is already my problem, not theirs. How do you manage the communication with your team if it is decentralized throughout the world? We are living in a decentralized space, but I guess we do not think enough about what is this decentralized communication about. It's comfortable. You can work from your home. You can be flexible with your work hours. You have your office always with you in form of your computer. And then why people become tired of this? Because we all need physical contact. Because any online communication is usually very straightforward. How many times have you asked your team what's the weather in their place, and what's happening around, and what did they eat for breakfast? We are all living in this rush hours, always, especially the digital businesses. Everything should be quick, so like, okay, straight to the point. What's the agenda? Let's discuss that. And then somehow your team start quitting. Maybe even without having a place where they want to go, but they are just, they lose their motivation. So I'm not a perfect manager, not at all. I just wanted to share my observations, and I really think that it's important to think about your team as the most important asset for your business. And what are the opportunities that you have within a decentralized environment to manage communications within your team? So first, ask them. Ask their feedback, ask their advice, ask what do they feel and what do they want. Maybe you, through the screen, think that this is the best role for this person and that's what I want him or her to do forever. And maybe you have a career path for this person, and then this person quits. Why? Maybe because he or she wanted to do something else and just never had a strength and ambitions to tell you about this. So ask, what's the next step that you want to do in our company? Maybe you want to change your focus. Maybe you want to change the people with whom you have to communicate. Maybe you want to change your work hours, your goal of business, your ideas that create your environment. So ask. Second thing, share. Share your story. Tell them, gosh, I'm so tired. I had 7 Zoom calls today. I'm having another 5 this evening. Be compassionate. Like, share your experience. Especially if you're a leader of a team, if you're a manager. They definitely think that you are impeccable and never have any flaws, but it's very important for your team to see that you are a human, that you have your own problems, that you have your own private life. Speaking about private life, I don't know how much of these issues you have had this year, but the Zoom fatigue is not a simple thing. Like, sometimes I work for, 16 hours, and then I have no forces to go outside for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days. And then my wonderful husband, who is really my support and warrior for me, he sends me a WhatsApp message. Please go outside for 5 minutes, just contemplate the sunset. I'm going outside, and I start crying. Because after a week in front of the computer, you're overwhelmed of all these scents, odors, and sounds, and it's just too emotional. So everyone on your team can actually encounter these issues. Of course, we all want them to work in the most efficient way, but the most efficient way doesn't always mean that they need to work 16 hours per day. Ask them to make a pause. If you see that their feelings are not, in order, try to invite them to spend more time with their families. Balancing your private and professional life, especially in the decentralized environment when your office is your computer, is much more difficult when you work in the office. It's comfortable from so many other points of view, but in terms of this balance, it's really difficult. When you encounter an issue yourself as a manager, as a leader, think that everyone on your team can actually have the same problem. Maybe even having closed your computer and having put your phone aside, you still see the screen around, and your brain is working like a computer, trying to solve 100 problems in a second. I actually made an experiment once, tried to count how many thoughts come to my head while I'm reading a book. Thoughts not related to the book, so not some, inspirational ideas. 22 per page. Related to my work, to like what I have to do tomorrow, and okay, where is the laundry, and oh, I have to feed my cat. Like 22 thoughts per page. And this is the fatigue that is coming from the fact that we use digital technologies so much that we start being digital ourselves. Our brain just continues working even when we want to stop it. So listen to your team, share your experience, ask them what they want, and try to create this compassionate relationship with them, being mindful of everything that is happening with them and with you. Try to create something that is not related to the success of your project, you think is not related to the success of your project. Happy hour, let's make a karaoke online, or let's share our pets and make a reunion with our pets instead of our persons. So these are the different ways that you can make the life of your company more healthy and more efficient in the end. This was my main message, and I'm really happy if you have any question, because again, I'm not perfect and I'm not impeccable and I do so many mistakes. We'll be happy to share whatever you would like me to ask. Yes, please. I guess I hear you.
Hello. Yeah. That was quite insightful.
No, I don't hear you.
That was quite insightful. Managing a team in a decentralized ecosystem. The topic itself is quite interesting. In this world of COVID, when we see that the teams are distributed, and a lot of times we think that the teams that are distributed sitting across the world, the vibes do not come together. What would you suggest to these entrepreneurs, to us, when it's not about, when you are not able to collect those vibes from each one of them, that would have been the case in the physical world, and then you start having these negative thoughts about whether that person is being productive, whether that person is working efficiently or not. I mean, you have those all 20,000 thoughts. What would you suggest? How to, sort of take an approach towards that?
I guess the most important thing here is that you are interested in them, because also every person who is situated in different parts of the world is your very precious asset, because it allows you to look at the world, look at your business from different perspective, through different eyes. And it's really an incredible gift that we have, that we can actually have people who join our movement, our project, with a perspective from different background, from different economy, from different state of politics, etc. So use it, just grab it and use it. And also share your experience, because we, in the end, are creating a new generation of businessmen and women, generation of visionaries who not only think about themselves and are Americentric, I don't know, Europe-centric, whatever continent you may take, but who creates the future of the business and technology, taking into consideration all the backgrounds around the world. So the more presence you have in your company from different countries, I guess the more precious it is. And then, well, whenever you can, of course, organize some gathering. I don't know, I've been trying to do it by continents. It's just impossible, even online, to gather everyone at the same time from different time zones. So maybe divided by continents. And then try also to ask them what's happening. For example, well, I'm in media business, so it's a little bit different. But when COVID situation arrived to our lives, we launched this project. So we basically interviewed our own team about how they are dealing with the pandemic situation in their countries. And then we shared it with on our platform at Cointelegraph. And I've never received so much feedback as I had with this article, because it was so important that we represent ourselves not as like indifferent business people, media, communicators who are just working and do not think about their personal life as something that is influencing their professional life. It was very important to share this with the audience as well. I hope I responded to your question. Thank you.
Yeah, you mentioned a very important point regarding work-life balance, and I personally am struggling with that. So the dilemma here is, when you have to choose between work and family, and both things are equally important at that point in time. What are your tips, as for somebody like me who's struggling? What would you suggest? How do you prioritize?
Oh my gosh. I will tell my husband that I was asked this, and he will ask me, did you tell that you are a total fail? So I'm telling you, I'm a total fail. But being a total fail in balancing my private and professional life, I'm trying not to incentivize my team to be a fail in this. So this is actually a very bad thing. Like this coming notifications 24 hours but 24/7 is the most disastrous thing that has ever been invented in professional terms. It actually allowed me to do a lot of personal things during the pandemic, when I was not working in a strict sense of this word, but for example, taking my sports classes and dance classes, and whenever I see that something urgent is coming through my watch, I could just stop my online class and go back to the Slack, messengers, email, platform, etc. So it's very easy to get messed with that. Like, at one point you just realize that you are tired, you can't work anymore, but you can't actually stop working either. So try to be proactive and make yourself have a walk. No, this is really important, guys. I'm from Italy, and we had this first European lockdown last year. For 2 months we were at home. So what did I do? Walking is very important, also for your brain. Just walking, really walking, you feel your body differently and you feel your brain working differently. And we couldn't go farther than 50 meters from home. So what I did was, when we went throwing garbage, I made, like this. So it was not 50 meters, but I don't know, 30, 300, something like that. So physical activity is very important. And whenever you make yourself make this step toward thinking about your body also as your professional asset and private asset, this is very important. So try to make your life, we are talking about diversifying portfolio, diversifying project, diversifying our businesses, diversify your life. Because the more things you have in your life, actually, the more benefit it gives through your business as well. Because you will be a complete person, not just a businessman who doesn't have any private life. And then, well, it brings us to the philosophical question, why are we all gaining money? Like, not to have money, time to spend it? Well, this is one way to get rich, but maybe not the best. Please.
Hello. Yeah. Hi. Hi, Kristina. Thank you so much for your talk. This side, Amanjot. I represent BITE, which is a Turkish exchange. And we are hiring left, right, and center. But what I've realized is that whenever we're hiring remotely, it's actually very difficult to make somebody new to onboard. Like we face a lot of problems. Like, so if you have already worked with somebody and you have met them at an event or you have previously worked with them, then you know them in person. But when you're hiring a new person whom you have never met before, it's so hard to onboard somebody remotely. Like you faced a lot of issues in that. And then the other person whom we are hiring does not feel included in the team. So it's like, they always feel like left out. So what do you suggest should be done?
That's a very important question, and definitely it applies not only to communications within your team, but also to communications with your partners, clients, users, whatever. Try to think of an online conversation as of a real one. I mean, maybe you can't get drunk online, even, I don't know, I guess everyone maybe has had some similar experience. I had my bachelorette party on Zoom last year. Just don't think about your online meetings as we did think about this before the pandemic. So the meeting is, what's the agenda? Let's go through agenda. It's over. No. Let's try to create a real conversation where you can exchange your ideas not only about the topic of the conversation, but about something else. Because the idea of any conversation is to have your perception, impression of a person, and to give your impression of yourself. So try to think about this in terms of real life conversations. I know it's difficult, but sometimes you have, I don't know, to stand up and to show yourself even to your partners within a real online conversation. That's actually a very important question. I have some online calls when people prefer not to show their faces. And Clubhouse was so much praised by many of users because you could actually do whatever you want, be in your bed or in bathroom, and just share your thoughts with your voice. Well, it's definitely cool, but whenever you can show your face to your team, to your clients, to your partners, do it. And even if you're not in the best form, for ladies, if they do not have makeup on their faces, it doesn't matter. But if you just can smile and show your energy through your eyes, this is already a very, very important addition to any online conversation. And of course, if you can choose between just messaging people, with text messages, and have an interaction through the screen, well, the second definitely has more benefits. But again, I came here, and the first in-person event in months, I was overwhelmed. I ran away. I didn't know how to manage all those conversations in person. Also because in parallel, I had 100 messages per minute. And I was like, okay, what is the priority? Well, the priority is always real people, real conversations. And if you can spend more time on one conversation instead of having 5 conversations of 2 minutes, also choose the first one. Thank you very much. I would like to end with my 2 favorite quotes that are sort of my mottos in life. So first is, it's attributed to Oscar Wilde, but I've never found it in actually online. So I don't know. It's just a rumor that it's his quote. If someone actually finds out whether it's really his quote, I will be very grateful. So there is nothing worth doing in this world, in this life, than what is considered to be impossible. So whenever you think of a challenge or something that seems really impossible, just try to do it, and you'll see that this is what actually was right to do. And a second thing that maybe in some sort of sense is contradicting the first one is a Latin one. This is an Occam's razor principle. I don't know if you're acquainted. A very interesting thing, philosophical principle. Entia non sunt multiplicanda praeter necessitatem. It means you shouldn't multiply things beyond necessity. Like, simplicity is actually the best way to proceed. Do not try to englobe all the possible directions. Just choose one and make a step. And this will be your success. And then there will be another step. And this also applies to communication with people. Just listen to your heart and look to the eyes of people you work with. Thank you very much.
Shreya, can you please come up on the stage to felicitate our keynote speaker? Thank you, Kristina. It was wonderful.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. I enjoyed so much.